Welcome to the Always Bayern Chelsea show, everybody. It's a late night mini episode edition, special edition of the show. It's thunderstorming outside right now for dramatic effect. But yes, my name is Danny. I'm the Bayern Munich half of Always Bayern Chelsea, and I'm here tonight because the Bundesliga season is finally back. Yes, I've been waiting forever, and it's back on Friday. Bayern Munich take on Leipzig, and then a full slate of matches for the weekend. So yes, I've been waiting for it, and it's finally just about here. And I'm here, right now, to give you my prediction on how the Bundesliga table will shape up in this season 25-26. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Please subscribe here at Always Bayern Chelsea on YouTube. We just put out our reaction episode to the DFB Franz Beckenbauer Super Cup, as well as the English Premier League opening weekend over there with Jim. He's the Chelsea fan. And we also did a season preview slash prediction episode very recently. So lots of good stuff for you to check out if you're new here. But thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, liking, and comment below if you have a different thought on how the season's going to shape up. But without further ado, let's start from the bottom, because I will probably have less to say about the teams at the bottom and more to say as we kind of build up in the table here. The Bundesliga is my favorite league in the world. Yes, I'm a Bundesliga fanatic. So, yeah, like I said, looking forward to it. And let's just jump right in here with 18th place. I'm going to start off with one of the newly promoted sides with FC Köln, and I know sometimes it's pronounced as Cologne, but I think I'm just gonna say Köln for now because I honestly have heard it pronounced both ways and don't know whichever one you prefer. I guess pretend I'm saying that. So yeah, this is a team that is no stranger to the Bundesliga, being back in the top flight in German football as recent as 2 years ago. And I think they're kind of one of those teams right now, maybe similar to Bochum, who will potentially be yo-yoing up and down between the Zweite Bundesliga, the second Bundesliga, and the top flight. But yeah, definitely not a bad team. Köln and Hamburg being promoted from the Zweite Bundesliga last year. Both of these sides, I think, are actually pretty solid, and I could easily see both of them staying up in the Bundesliga this year. But as of right now, I don't know if Köln really has the firepower to fight with some of these bigger dogs. Again, I kind of see them being a yo-yo team. So I'm putting them down at the bottom at 18th. At 17th, TSG Hoffenheim, a team who honestly I could be totally wrong about this prediction, and I could see them finishing 10th or something in the league, but I am going to put them down there at 17th. They really had a massive fall off last season, after 2 seasons ago finishing, I believe, in sixth or something. They were playing in Europe in the Europa League, now that I think about it, with Heidenheim getting the Conference League. So yeah, Hoffenheim really took a massive step back last year. They weren't really in danger of getting relegated, but they were kind of hovering around that 14th, 15th for a big chunk of the season. And yeah, this is a team who surprisingly was down there because they had talent on their roster, and they still do have talent on their roster. Again, why I said that I could see them finishing way higher, but I'm going to put them down there at 17th because I don't know about their team chemistry, honestly, and they lost their star Tom Bischoff, certainly one of their best players last year, and obviously going to Bayern Munich this year. So I think that'll hurt them this year. But you look at the squad, and they do have some quality. Like I said, obviously led by keeper Oliver Baumann, who's been kind of in and out of the German national team, especially as of late. But yeah, Christian Ilzer is their coach. Interesting to see where they will end up this year. But I'm putting them at 17th, relegated, which is crazy. Crazy stuff here. But next up in 16th, I am going to put Heidenheim, my beloved Heidenheim. No, I'm kind of just joking, but Heidenheim, I do actually like them. I'm predicting them to finish in 16th, but I'm going to predict them to stay up in the Bundesliga. They're going to win the playoff against, I don't know yet, haven't thought that far into how the Zweite Bundesliga will end up, but Heidenheim miraculously surviving with a last second goal against Elversberg in the playoff, two-legged playoff. Last year they finished in 16th as well. And yeah, really exciting matches. But Frank Schmidt, old Frank Schmidt, the coach there, I love him. Love him, love him, love him. Was a player and has been the coach forever and coached this small club up from the fourth division into the Bundesliga. And yeah, last year they had to worry about Europe as well as the Bundesliga. This year they won't be worrying about Europe. So I think I'm gonna have them staying in. They're punching above their weight, certainly. Small, small, small club, but I'm gonna have them staying up, finishing 16th, and winning that playoff. Also, this year you do have Ibrahimovic on loan from Bayern Munich. I believe it's a loan. I don't think it was a permanent sale. But just an interesting wrinkle there. Paul Vanner was loaned to Heidenheim last year on Bayern Munich. Now he's back at Bayern. Maybe we'll get loaned out before the end of the season, but as of, I should say, end of the transfer window, before the beginning of the season. But for now, he is a member of Bayern Munich. 15th place, we're going with Hamburg. Yep, another newly promoted side. I think Hamburg has some quality, and I think for that reason they are actually going to stay up at 15th and stay in the Bundesliga. A German dinosaur, really a historical, successful German football side. I think they are going to kind of go all in this year, being back in the Bundesliga, and I do think that they will be able to stay up. And in 14th place, crosstown rivals FC St. Pauli. I do love St. Pauli, potentially my favorite team besides Bayern Munich. Just to give you a little bit of an insight into my mind, perhaps, but yes, I love St. Pauli. I love what they stand for. I love captain, the skipper, Jackson Irvine from Australia. One of the most beautiful professional football players in the world. In my mind, the most beautiful professional football player in the world, Jackson Irvine. So, yeah, no, St. Pauli is one of those teams. 2 seasons ago, coached by Fabian Hertzler, who now coaches Brighton over in the Premier League, coached him up to relegation, coached them up to promotion into the Bundesliga. And honestly, I think a lot of people, I believe myself included, actually predicted them to fall out of the Bundesliga last year. But no, they were such a solid side with new coach Alexander Blessin, which really credit to them. St. Pauli, really a defensive minded team. Very strong defense, very strong in the midfield, but really lacks any sort of attacking. And maybe that'll come back to bite them, but they're able to eke out a lot of 0-0, 1-1 type draws, and I just love them. So I'm putting them up there at the 13th place. And sorry, at the 14th place. And then at the 13th place, we got Union Berlin, a team who last season I honestly kind of felt like was on the cusp of getting relegated for a while. After a really strong start, to be honest with you. But yeah, Union Berlin, coached by Stefan Baumgart. Just another one of those teams similar to St. Pauli, where I feel like they're pretty defensively solid, but just lack any sort of fireworks on the attacking end of things. So I'm going to put them right there at 13th place. A team that I can't see fighting for the top really half or the top European spots in the Bundesliga whatsoever, but I do think that they will be safe. Wouldn't be totally surprised if they ended up, slipping and getting relegated, but for now I'm just going to throw them there at the 13th spot. And at the 12th spot, we got Augsburg, a team who I personally underrate every single season for some reason. I maybe have had them being relegated before, but for some reason they always end up being solid enough and they stay up. So I'm putting them at 12th. Again, a team where I feel like they have no business competing for Europe, competing for even the top half of the table, but they just always surprise me with how solid they are. So I got to give Augsburg more credit, I think, and for this year I'm putting them relatively safe at the 12th spot. So even if this is the year where they finally slip up, I won't be too wrong. But then again, if this is a year where they continue surprising me, I'll be like, all right, I had them at 12. So that's my kind of thoughts on Augsburg there. Next up, we got 11th place. I'm putting Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg is a team that I maybe overrated a little bit last year because I really liked Ralph Hasenhüttl, their coach, last season, and I thought that he was going to kind of coach them up. They have a decent roster, and Hasenhüttl has a very, very aggressive style of play, which I like, but I think you kind of need maybe even a little bit of a better roster to play that style. It seemed like it was working for a while, and then the wheels came off at some point. But yeah, not a bad team whatsoever. They have a couple noteworthy players, I guess, that you might know if you're a fan of the Bundesliga. Amora, Jonas Wind, I believe, and yeah, they're just like a solid team. I got them finishing 11th, but I don't think, again, they're really going to be like challenging in that top half of the table. Next up at 10th place here, moving on to the next tier, I guess, based off how this tier list that I found online is set up. We got Werder Bremen. Yeah, I'm putting them at the 10th spot. I think that they are a solid team, but again, do I see them competing for the top of the table? Probably not, but we're getting into that territory where I don't know. On the outskirts, I could see it. They did lose their coach from last year, Ollie Werner, who is coaching Leipzig now. We'll talk about them later. So I that is kind of a reason why I think they might not be as high as they could have been. Some coaching turnover, but yeah, just a solid team again. Werder Bremen. Again, they have a few guys similar to Wolfsburg who I feel like you might know if you are a fan of the Bundesliga. Mitchell Weiser, I think is their captain, but I'm not 100% sure on that to be honest. But guys like that who are solid Bundesliga mainstays, but aren't gonna like push your team over the edge. And something about it just seems right. Wolfsburg and Werder Bremen, the two green W's. I always have them like this, right next to each other in the table for some reason. Last year, I'm certain I had Wolfsburg ahead of Bremen, but this year I'm flipping them. So the two green W's, they're always next to each other for me for some reason. Ninth place, I'm putting Borussia Mönchengladbach. And Gladbach is a team who I feel like has kind of solidified themselves as being solid. They're always up in that, 7, 8, 9, 10 kind of range of the Bundesliga, but honestly led by Tim Kleindienst. I think he is the reason why I do have them up a little bit ahead of maybe some of these other kind of mid-table teams. One of the better strikers in the league for sure, for sure, for sure. Tim Kleindienst. He's a little bit older, but he's kind of having a later career renaissance, maybe. Being called up to the German national team and whatnot. And next up at eighth place, SC Freiburg. SC Freiburg is a team who, in the last couple years, I feel like has really been challenging for Europe, kind of challenging for that top five, and has really been impressive, to be honest. This year, as well as last year, Julian Schuster is their manager, and he has impressed, to be honest. Just put together a squad that's going to fight with the big dogs. Maybe not knock out one of the big dogs, but can go a number of rounds with them. If you kind of catch my drift here, that's how I feel about Freiburg, and I feel pretty safe having them up towards the top half of the table, to be honest. Next up in seventh place, we got Mainz, a team that I love. Definitely, definitely one of my favorite teams to watch in the Bundesliga, coached by Bo Henriksen, one of my favorite coaches maybe in all the world, but definitely in the Bundesliga. Mainz is a team who was previously pretty far down in the table, and then last year, surprise, finished sixth, I want to say, and was actually up there kind of 3, 4, 5, 6 for a while at the end of the year. They made a late push, kind of got hot a little too early, and then teetered off a little bit at the end. Really just a team with quality, to be honest. And they did lose their striker, Jonathan Berghardt, to Frankfurt, so that's going to sting for sure. But you still have guys like Lee, Sieb, Amiri, Robin Zentner, their keeper. And, I think that'll be enough to really keep them competitive. But do I see them breaking into that top five, six? Probably not, to be honest with you. I just think these top teams are too strong. And now, really getting into the meat and potatoes of this, getting into the Europe um, Champions League league winner phase of this episode of this prediction show, I guess you could say, um, up at sixth place. And I will say, I do think 2 through 6 are going to be pretty fluid. Any one of these teams could finish 2 through 6, and it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But we're going to start with sixth. I'm going RB Leipzig. They are a team who is constantly in flux. Managers leaving, coming, players coming, leaving. So I feel like they're a team where they're always going to be good. They have a lot of talent, this RB Leipzig team, and they always do. But I feel like the team chemistry is something that it's tough to build. It really is tough to build at a club like Leipzig. Obviously, hoping that they start the season off with a big fat L because Bayern Munich will be playing them on day one. But yeah, Leipzig, I mean, you got new coach this year, as I mentioned, Ole Werner. You have Louis Openda still, but a lot of attacking firepower leaving. Benjamin Sesko going to Manchester United. Xavi Simons most likely going to Chelsea. We'll see if that one gets done, but you still have a number of talented players. David Raum is a mainstay in the German national team. Orban and Peter Gulashi, their keeper, is kind of a Bundesliga mainstay. And Peter Gulashi, maybe is how you say it. I believe he's Hungarian, but he has just a name that's tough to pronounce as a dumb American. So that's what I think about Leipzig coming in sixth. It's again a lot of good players, but I just struggle to see Leipzig ever being super serious about like a title fight or something. So fifth place now we're going to Bayer Leverkusen. I debated this for a while because Leverkusen still does have a lot of talent. New head coach, Eric Ten Hag, of course. And I think his style of coaching, the Dutchman, I think it is better for the Bundesliga than it is for like the Premier League. Of course, he struggled at Manchester United, won some trophies, but still struggled. So, yeah. But I think he'll be okay at Leverkusen. I don't think he's going to be great, but they just lost so much talent. They lost, obviously, star boy Florian Wirtz, star head coach Xabi Alonso, Frimpong, it's going to Liverpool with Florian Wirtz, Xhaka, and Jonathan Tah, and it's like they still have some of their good players, of course, Grimaldo, Patrick Schick. I think they still have Victor Boniface as well, but it's gonna be tough for Leverkusen to reach the heights, obviously, that they've reached the last couple years, but I think it's even going to be tough for them to reach like a second place in the league because I don't know, towards the end of last year and somewhat in this preseason, what I've seen of Leverkusen is I don't think they have things figured out yet. I think it's going to be a bit more of a slow burn. I think they will figure things out, but as of right now, I just don't feel like they have things figured out yet, and we'll see. We'll see. Again, the quality's there, but are they going to be able to put it together? I'm not so sure. Fourth place, we got VfB Stuttgart. Yes, the losers of the Franz Beckenbauer Cup, but the winners of last year's DFB Pokal. Yeah, Stuttgart. What can I say about them other than I'm pissed at them right now about the whole Nick Valdemata situation, holding their player captive. If you believe his agent, they had a gentleman's agreement to let him go and further develop his career. That doesn't look like it's happening. Bayern Munich has offered over double his market value. The player is choosing to forego salary to help finance the deal, and they're still being stubborn about it. So, Stuttgart, I'm putting them at fourth, though. I think they are an immensely talented team. I think Seb Honis is a great coach. I would not be surprised if he coached Bayern Munich someday. Maybe clip that out somebody because maybe that'll come true someday and I'll look pretty smart. But if not, don't clip it out and forget I ever said it. But yes, Stuttgart. I really feel like the only glaring weakness in their side is the center back position, really. A good keeper in Alexander Nubel. Obviously, you got Angelo Stiller in the midfield. You have attacking options like Nick Valdemata, Undav, Jamie Leveling. There's a number of good players on the Stuttgart side. Maximilian Mittelstadt, and it's like last year they were hampered by injuries, in my opinion. Obviously they'll be playing in the Europa League because they did win the German Cup, so they'll have that other European challenge to worry about. But Stuttgart is again just a solid team up and down the roster. You look at them, they're solid, they have the tools, but I don't think they're going to crack the top three because at number three, I do have Eintracht Frankfurt. I love Frankfurt. And actually, wow, huge mistake. I put Stuttgart in the wrong tier. Ugh, it is a late night episode. I'm going absolutely nuts, crazy berserk here. But yeah, Stuttgart fourth, Frankfurt third. Eintracht Frankfurt, another one of the teams that I really, really enjoy in the Bundesliga. Really enjoy watching Frankfurt, coached by Dino Topmöller, who is a very good coach. Very, very good. I would say great head coach. And Frankfurt, obviously, one of the smartest teams in the world with how they do business. I think I want to say they made like 350 million euros on like five strikers over the last however many seasons. Um, Now, obviously, some of their best players do leave. Omar Marmoush goes to City. Hugo Ekitike goes to Liverpool. And those are huge, huge, huge blows, but they did a great job with their signings this summer. They got Ritsu Doan from Freiburg, who is a great Bundesliga player. And they also picked up Jonathan Burkhart from Mainz. So they got some signings in, and they still have a lot of talent. Kevin Trapp is their keeper. They got Robin Koch on the center back side and the defensive line. And yeah, just like a number of solid Bundesliga guys at Frankfurt. So I think they're still going to be up there. I'm having them finishing third. I really like Frankfurt. But number two, Dortmund. So yeah, by process of elimination, you know that I do indeed have Bayern Munich winning the league. But let's talk about Dortmund for a second. And I hope that doesn't come as a surprise to anybody that I did pick Bayern Munich to win the league. I'm a Bayern fan, and I think Bayern has far and away the best team in the Bundesliga this year. Now their squad does have some deficiencies, but uh, they're the best team in the league. And yes, Dortmund, the team that is, I don't want to say hard to take serious because that's super, super disrespectful. But, after what would that have been 3 seasons ago now? When they bottled the league on the final day. Bayern Munich wins at the last second with a Jamal Musiala goal. Thomas Tuchel honestly winning the league when he didn't deserve it that season. It's hard to take Dortmund completely seriously because they have had a loss of identity in my mind these last couple of years. They go from Nuri Sahin trying to play a little bit more attacking style football to Niko Kovac now, who actually did right the ship, but their style has just been ping-ponging back and forth. Last couple seasons, I feel like it's went defending, attacking, defending, and it's like, again, just a loss of identity. But now you got Niko Kovac, who really, really surprised me in how he finished the season last year. I predicted him to kind of, you know, straighten up what was going on at Dortmund, but I didn't expect them to be as good as they were at the end of the year last year. So credit to Kovac. I will say, I think that they have a potential to go downhill really quickly. If the players, for whatever reason, lose faith in Kovac, if they don't buy into his system anymore, I think it could be a slippery, slippery slope. But for now, I see it working out. You got great talent, of course, at Dortmund. You always have great talent. Newly acquired Joe Bellingham, yes, not Jude Bellingham, but brother, looks just like him. So if he can be anything like Jude was slash is, they're going to have a real shot to contend for the title. And honestly, Dortmund is really the only team that I could see actually contending with Bayern Munich for the title if they play up to their potential. Again, big if. But So there you go, Dortmund fans, if you're watching. First of all, welcome to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'm a Bayern Munich fan, so I'm probably super annoying to you, but you just listened to me trash them for a while, and now I'm going to tell you why I think they're actually good. Obviously, Serhou Guirassy, great striker, one of the best strikers in the Bundesliga. Honestly, you can make a case for Guirassy being one of those top strikers in the world, and there's not a whole lot of them out there. Maximilian Bayer, another great attacking player. I mentioned Joe Bellingham, but you got Eddie Emi in the midfield, Julian Brandt. Pascal Gross. Obviously, a lot of these guys are German national team kind of mainstays that you would recognize, or at least German national team cusp guys. You got guys like Emre Can who can kind of play um, defense, midfield, that type of position. But also on the defending side, you have Nico Schlotterbeck, who I think is one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga. Up there, maybe in the world, maybe. It's a debate, but I really like Schlotterbeck. Nicholas Zula, of course, former Bayern Munich player, Waldemar Anton, and obviously Kobil between the sticks there at keeper, one of the best keepers in the Bundesliga, maybe the world. So you have Dortmund there, who, again, I think they can always make noise. I really do. And it's all about them buying into the system of Niko Kovac right now. Find your identity, Dortmund, stick to it, and you will be successful. If not, it could be a slippery slope. So there you go, Dortmund fans. I tried to be nice to you. But number one is going to be Bayern Munich. That's right, my team, FC Bayern Munich. I don't know how deep we want to go into Bayern Munich right here, right now, because I talk about them every week. But yeah, Franz Beckenbauer Super Cup champions. Harry Kane is now a serial winner, and I think he's going to win the league this year. Obviously, last year, new head coach Vincent Kompany came in, kind of steadied the ship in a way where Thomas Tuchel couldn't. Kompany was the yin to Thomas Tuchel's yang. Tuchel was abrasive, a locker room cancer, you could say, whereas Kompany. Not 100% a yes man, but kind of like related to the players and just like trusted the vets and didn't throw people under the bus, held things behind closed doors. And yeah, I think Bayern Munich, while their squad is thinner this year, no doubt, they lost Thomas Muller, they lost Leroy Sané, they lost Kingsley Coman, so they're losing all these attackers only to replace them all with Luis Diaz, who's a good player, but um, you can't replace three guys for the price of one. Plus Jamal Musiala being injured for potentially a good part of the season, or at least not being back up to his full strength for a good portion of the season. You have Alphonso Davies already injured for a good portion of the season. If anybody else gets injured, things are going to be really, really tough for Bayern. Again, I expect them to win the league. They just have so much talent and so much more depth than most of these teams. I should say they probably have more depth than all these teams in the Bundesliga. Sounding like I'm going back on my statement saying they're a thin squad, but yes, they're a thin squad for a Bayern Munich squad, but they still have depth. They still have guys who can compete in the Bundesliga. Heck, even a lot of these youngsters, Lena Karl, Kusi Asari, Paul Vonner, Tom Bischoff, like all these guys who are like newer to Bayern, newer to Bayern's first team, I should say, are still like good enough in my mind to compete in the Bundesliga. And then you mix them in with some veterans, Harry Kane, Joshua Kimmich, Dayot Upamecano, all these guys, Luis Diaz, Michael Olise, who's not quite a vet but is still a superstar. It's just a recipe for success. So I think I'll leave it at that. Bayern Munich at the top of the Bundesliga. Why don't I actually run through these all again? 18th place, FC Cologne, if that's how you want to say it. 17th place, Hoffenheim. Those are the teams getting relegated. Heidenheim is finishing in 16th and winning their playoff again. 15th place, Hamburg. 14th place, St. Pauli. 13th place. Wow, almost forgot what came before 14. Crazy. Really a late night recording. 13th place, Union Berlin. 12th place, Augsburg. 11th place, Wolfsburg. 10th place, Werder Bremen. 9th place, Gladbach. 8th place, Freiburg. 7th place, Mainz. Getting into European competition now. 6th place in the Conference League, Leipzig. 5th place in the Europa League, Leverkusen. Fourth place, Stuttgart. Third place, Frankfurt. Second place, Dortmund. First place, Bayern Munich. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, it means a lot. Drop a comment with what you think about my predictions, with what you think your own predictions will be. Who do you think's going to finish first? Who do you think's going to get relegated? All those things. I want to hear them. I respond to all the comments here on Always Bayern Chelsea. We're trying to build a community of football fans, and we will be giving you a ton of content this season. I'm just excited for it all. So thank you for watching. That's the main thing. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Always Bayern Chelsea. Mia, San Mia. We usually have a Chelsea fan in here, Jim. So if you're a fan of EPL, Chelsea, this is still the channel for you. And now, Mia San Mia.